What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's doing great as per usual. Playoffs, baby. It is playoffs, super wild card weekend. We already covered the AFC contest, so we're going to dive into the NFC preview, game day preview for all the NFC contests on this weekend slate. We got Saturday, Sunday, Monday football for the playoffs. NFL is just trying to bleed us dry for getting all their money. I'm telling y'all, but hey, it's football. I love football, and it's going to be over soon enough, and we're going to be dying for all these contests. So what do you say we waste no more time and dive into all the NFC contests that are going to be happening this week? So let's start off with the first matchup between the San Francisco 49ers hosting those Seattle Seahawks. Another divisional contest between these two foes. Big-time rival apparently now. I mean, this is the third time they've played. Like I said, San Francisco is favored by 9.5 points. The over-under sitting at 41.5. So, I mean, they think that there's going to be some decent level of points put on the board in this contest. The San Francisco 49ers are looking to do a clean sweep 3 games in a row on these Seahawks this season. That is very difficult to do. I don't care who you are, even as good as the 49ers are. To beat a team 3 times in one season is extremely difficult. So the Seahawks, just by that alone, should have a shot in this contest. Yes, it is on the road, but I mean, Geno Smith, they limped in. The Seattle Seahawks limped into the postseason, but all they needed is a chance to get into the dance. And I mean, they're going to try to run the ball a lot with Kenneth Walker III, and I think we saw what the Las Vegas Raiders were able to do against the 49ers defense. So maybe the tape is a little bit out on the 49ers right now and how to attack them offensively. DK Metcalf has got to have a big game in this contest, I would want to assume, because you know, you got to get that play action pass running with Kenneth Walker III, but DK's got to be the instrumental piece for them to move the ball down the field. Geno just cannot make any mistakes. No turnovers, no fumbles. Hopefully the offensive line can block for him a little bit better this week, and we'll see how it goes. Not much for injury news for the 49ers. They are pretty much healthy and clean outside of Thomas, the defensive back. He is out with an ankle injury in this contest. Seattle, on the other hand, not too many injuries themselves. DJ Dallas questionable, and I mean, outside of that, nothing really. Travis Homer got put on the IR. So, I mean, for them, they do look like they're pretty much healthy squads for both clubs right now. 9.5 points is a big spread for me to say. You know, it's a lot of people are going to believe that the 49ers are going to roll in this game, as we thought against how they played versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm keep going back to that game because that was the first time we've seen the 49ers defense exposed in a very long time. That's why I think there is a shot here. Geno Smith, on the other hand, almost, 4,280 yards in this season. He just had a revelation of a year. 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Brock Purdy, he is looking purdy. And I mean, okay, he's the X factor in this point. They're obviously going to run the ball a heck of a lot with Christian McCaffrey. He is the massive X factor in this contest for the 49ers. As per usual, he's always going to find ways to gallop through. Seahawks defense is not very stout, so they will be giving up a lot of running yards to the running back position, and I fully expect Christian McCaffrey to run free, as is Deebo Samuel. I fully expect them to utilize him, Kyle Shanahan, to utilize him that much more, and they kind of wanted him to get a little bit healthier. Gave him some snaps last week, but it's not enough. They want to do what they normally do with Deebo, even though Christian McCaffrey has basically taken that running role away from him at this point. Brandon Ayuk has had a hell of a season, 78 receptions for 10, 15, and 8 touchdowns. You got to think that that's going to decrease just a little bit. Now Brock Purdy's starting to find a George Kittle that much more down the field, scoring touchdowns, play action passes working. This offense is just moving. It's Kyle Shanahan. They know what to do, but we got to give props to Pete Carroll and what he's been able to do with the Seattle Seahawks club. We all thought, I don't care who you are, nobody thought the Seahawks were going to be able to make the playoffs, let alone be like a 5-4 win team this year with Geno Smith. Huge props to a Pete Carroll. They trade away Russell Wilson. They knew it was time, and they said, you know what, our team is good enough. My system, Pete Carroll says, is good enough to support a Geno Smith, and he's going to be able to at least move this offense. DK Metcalf, like I said, another good season, 90 receptions for over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. They're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to find ways. Kenneth Walker III, 20 carries at least I can see for the Seahawks from Kenneth Walker, and he's going to have to at least get 70 yards, if not chunk plays in between, 20-yard gains here and there, trying to get the momentum, try to move this offense, do the clock control. I think that's how they're going to have to win this contest. Score touchdowns over field goals, and you're going to find yourself in a very good situation in potentially winning this contest. 49ers right now, 9 points seems a little heavy, but I mean, it is at home. And you got to think, I'm going to put all my point spreads out on Twitter on Friday evening, so you'll definitely get where I'm picking them right now. I do believe San Fran is going to win this game outright, not spread included. I do believe San Fran is going to move on. They're just too powerful for the Seahawks. Like I said, the Seahawks just barely limped into the postseason. Very difficult to trust at this point, but if they do get everything, like I said, 3 times in a row is tough, so you got to believe that Pete Carroll's going to have his top A game right now. 49ers looking to sweep the whole season series, including the playoffs, 3 straight games versus the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday. It's a big one, man. Next one is the New York Giants, the Big Blue. They are taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Last meeting was in Week 16. Minnesota won that game 27-24. Hard-fought battle. The Giants, Brian Daboll deserves a lot of credit for what he's done with this New York Giants club. He made, everybody was saying he made Josh Allen be this, he made Josh Allen be that, okay? Now it was, could he do the same and replicate the same success with the Daniel Jones, Danny Pennies? He's Danny Nichols right now, and they work to his strengths, man. He almost had, 800 rushing yards this season. Daniel Jones did. They're working to his strengths. This is a very big positive. Turnovers were down this year for a Daniel Jones. Very impressive season for him overall. Only 5 interceptions. Yes, it came at the cost of passing touchdowns with only 15, but the rushing upside, if he, obviously Daboll instructed Daniel Jones enough to say, if it's not there, take off and run. You are a mobile quarterback. You can make plays with your feet. The Minnesota Vikings are favored by 3 points, over under 48.5, so they're expecting decent amount of, explosive playmaking ability on this roster. The injury report, Leonard Williams right now is questionable with a neck. He's on the right side of playing. I don't foresee him not playing in this contest, as is Evan Neal. Huge questionable tag right there. You got to believe he's going to suit up in this contest. Also, Adoree Jackson, he's a questionable. You got to hope he's going to play it. Azeez is a questionable, so you got some pretty big names on the injury report for the New York Giants, where the Vikings, not really. Harrison Smith is a questionable with a knee, but he's a limited participant, but he is likely going to suit up in this one as well, as it is the postseason. Johnson got put on the IR for the Minnesota Vikings. But you're talking, the last time these two teams played, it was, a back and forth type of battle. The Giants did, try their best, and then the Vikings pulled it out at the end. Very split between the betting public, 58 to 41% in favor of Minnesota right now. And I got to believe that the running game has to be the primary fact again in this contest. Saquon Barkley, this whole offense has, kind of like how I'm saying with the Seahawks, when if Kenneth Walker III, similar type of, offensive scheme, even though the Minnesota Vikings have not been great defensively overall these past several weeks. I want to say 5-6 weeks, they've been absolutely dreadful, and they're, they still very opportunistic, can create turnovers. They give up some of the, I believe they had the record for most given up points for being a playoff team in the NFL, in NFL history. So that tells you that this defense has not been playing well at all. If you've watched any Minnesota contest, you will understand what I'm saying. The Giants here, though, they are not out of this one by any stretch of the imagination. I have been a supporter of this Giants defense. They are very much underrated. Yes, they are a bend-but-don't-break unit. They do make plays from time to time, but they're relatively stout. They can get pressure on the quarterback. Kirk Cousins, when he gets rattled, he starts throwing those interceptions as well. It's JJ. They got to learn how to cover Justin Jefferson, and if they can do that again with high frequency and high ability, then you're going to see it. But, I mean, it's a very tall task in itself to cover a Justin Jefferson. TJ Hawkinson now on the team. He could be the X factor in this game as well. They got to get the ground game going with Dalvin Cook also, because when you see that Dalvin Cook starts to get stymied, you know that the play action pass isn't working, and that is a bread and butter play for Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins to do their damage, man. Saquon Barkley, almost 300 carries, 1,312 yards and 10 touchdowns. Where's all the people that said Saquon was going to get hurt this year and bust? I want to see y'all. It wasn't me. I told everybody in fantasy football, go and draft Saquon because he is a top 5 talent in this league, and he definitely repaid us once again this season. Dalvin Cook, 1,173 yards, 8 touchdowns, almost 270 carries. This is going to be a very heavy run game. I think both teams are going to, try to come out the gates a little bit slow, control the pace, try to, score the opening drive touchdown. It's going to be very important. But I do believe the Giants here at 3 points underdogs. I do believe they have a shot, and I'm almost thinking that the Giants could upset these Minnesota Vikings this week. Brian Daboll is a very good coach, and I do believe he's going to have these guys ready to go. The defense got to play lights out, like I said, against Justin Jefferson, and hope for the best that Dalvin Cook doesn't break free and have a big, long run, but you're never out of it when you have a Kirk Cousins throwing interceptions. Daniel Jones, the MO is going to continue in this contest as it has the entire season. Do not turn the ball over and take take what the defense gives you, I should say. And you could have a fighting chance in this contest. The patch-made solution at the wide receiver position with Hodgins, with Richie James. Kenny Golladay just, he can't even seem to get open on the field. I don't know what is his problem. He's just taking free dollars from these Giants payroll staff. But again, I think it's going to be very much ground heavy in this contest. They want to set up the run game a lot, and I do believe that we could see an upset here in Minnesota. The New York Giants could be moving on to the next round because, they are not a bad squad, and they could actually push these Vikings again like they did in Week 16. Final game for the NFC contest is the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady on Monday night. So I don't believe the last time we've seen a Monday night playoff game. This is good stuff. I'm okay with Monday Night Football for wild card. You're telling me. Dallas is favored by 2.5 points. Over under 45.5 is the spread right now. Last meeting was Week 1. Tampa Bay won 19-7. It's an interesting contest because we know how bad the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have played overall this season. Very inconsistent. Tom Brady has not looked great. We could basically say that his, descending skill set is happening right in front of our eyes, kind of like we saw with Peyton Manning when he won his final Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. The defense isn't strong enough to carry this team anymore, so Tom Brady is definitely going to have to show out. And maybe that contest that he had throwing 3 touchdowns over 200 yards to a Mike Evans, maybe that is, them just picking up some steam and fire and knowing that they were going to make the playoffs, and now they're going to unleash everything in the playoffs. It's very possible. It's Tommy Touchdown, man. You know what Tom does in the playoffs, and he's not going to go out swinging at all. He's going to do everything in his power that he can. Not many injuries on both sides here as well. Kyle Rudolph is injured, but he's not necessarily a big part of this team. Vita Vea, questionable tag. Logan Ryan, questionable tag. They should be suiting up in this contest as well. Tyron Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence, both questionable for the Dallas Cowboys. So like I said, for the NFC, it hasn't been a great deal of injury troubles for all these teams, and they should have relatively healthy rosters going into this postseason, healthy enough as we have a full season under their belt. But it's going to be, again, what are we talking about when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys? We know it's Dak Prescott. We know the turnover problems this year. 15 interceptions to 23 touchdowns. Not good enough for Dak Prescott. I understand, he dealt with the injury, came back, still trying to find his groove. He's been up and down majority of the season. Can we trust a Dak Prescott without a sound run game? It's going to be very tough to run against this front seven of Tampa Bay because they're still are still very good versus the run, and it's going to be very difficult for Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard to find traction. I think Tony Pollard should be the guy that you're utilizing a lot more in this game outside of goal line and red zone opportunity. Then you're going to force feed a Zeke Elliott, obviously, but I think they need that speed, change of pace guy, and I think Tony Pollard will be that guy. Over 1,000 yards this year and 9 touchdowns on the ground. This Tony Pollard he's a free agent. He's going to get paid, man. He bet on himself, obviously, and he's doing very well. Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White going to team up to, at least try to run the ball. And the defense in Dallas has been suspect. They are far too opportunistic for me. Diggs always going for the interception. The rushing, stopping the run has not been good for the Dallas the last several weeks as well. I do not like what I see from the Dallas Cowboys, and it is Coach McCarthy. We know he tends to fold in the postseason with horrible play management and horrible, time management. It's Mike McCarthy. This is what we know he does not well. It's a big problem. CeeDee Lamb has got to show out extremely well. He's picked up steam the last 6 weeks of the season as well. Showed everybody that he is that true alpha wide receiver one. I was never off the fence. A lot of people jumped off. I stayed on, jumped back on because CeeDee Lamb is that dog. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, going to be very difficult to stop. Diggs likely will see a big, heavy heap of a Mike Evans in this contest, so you got to believe that Chris Godwin is going to see a lot of added target share to his direction, but you got to know that they're going to run the ball extremely well here in this contest versus Dallas defense. Like I said, that is struggling. Tom Brady, even though, his season didn't seem very good, he still threw 4,600 yards and 25 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. Tom Brady still is the GOAT. He's still, and it hurts. I hate it. I puked in my mouth a little bit saying that, but you got to admit it already. Fine, Tom Brady's the GOAT. Okay, it's fine for now. Wait till Josh Allen plays into his 45s, and then we'll talk. But anyway, I digress. It's going to be a very difficult contest. Regardless of this, it's going to be an interesting contest, difficult contest for the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to have to show out. Dak Prescott, I'm looking at you 110%. Do not turn this ball over. Find your secondary wide receivers. Dalton Schultz, Michael Gallup is almost an afterthought weekly now. I don't understand this still. You paid the man, and you're not going to utilize the man. I do not understand it. If you wanted to do that in any contest, this is the one to do it in. Feed Michael Gallup because CeeDee Lamb is going to take heavy coverage to his side. Potential double teams coming his way. It's Dalton Schultz and Michael Gallup in the pass game that got to step up huge in this contest, where I do believe that Tom Brady's going to be able to find a Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on the regular, and they're going to be able to run the ball because, like I said, Dallas's defense has not been great overall this season. But, that's the games, man. That is the NFC wildcard round. I'm probably going with Tampa Bay here. I'm going to stick with Tom Brady, and I'm going to say Tommy's going to go into the divisional round. Don't know yet if I do like the spread right now, but 2.5 points is not a lot, so you're going with experience, right? You're going with experience with Tom Brady, and I think I'm going to side with him, but I'm still going to do some evaluation before I make that pick 100% certain at this point. But in Tampa Bay, Dallas has not traveled well this season either, so not traveling well, playing poor defense, and throwing interceptions with Dak Prescott is not necessarily a recipe for success against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But there you go. That is the NFC Super Wildcard Round Game Day Preview. It's getting exciting. So there you have it. That is NFC Wildcard Round game preview, game predictions, a little breakdown. It's going to be interesting, man. Playoff football is back. We are almost at the Super Bowl, almost at the finish line. It's getting very much real, and these games are going to be very entertaining. So definitely, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, and give me your predictions. We can definitely talk it out in those comments, but nevertheless, we will see you next time. I am out.